I'm excited to be here at the Massachusetts delegation meeting at the Democratic National Convention. It's exciting for me. I am glad to have this opportunity to talk about what's happening to America's working families and a chance to talk about how the game is rigged against them.
Everybody in this room is dedicated to sending a strong woman to the United States Senate. It's about time, and I am proud to introduce that woman to you right now, Elizabeth Warren.
We believe that everyone should pay a fair share, including the richest and wealthiest and the most powerful. Class should not be hammered harder with tax increases to pay for more tax cuts for the wealthy. And we believe in investing in our future, in education, in roads and bridges, in building something for ourselves, for our children, and for our grandchildren. We know what this race is about. We know the importance of this race. We know that what happens in 2012 will affect the direction of this country for the next half century. I am out there fighting every single day. I fight from early in the morning until late at night, and I want to tell you something. I fight, and I'm glad to be out there fighting.
Carolyn, it's great to have you here as our resident Massachusetts politics expert, given your many years at the Boston Globe. So first tell me, at this breakfast with the delegation this morning, what did they serve, like lobster rolls or something?
Lobster rolls, baked beans, all kinds of Boston special. No, it was very standard, lots of fruit. I think I had the Fruit Loops. It was a packed room. It's a fascinating race. It's one of the most closely watched, obviously, after the presidential. And the thing that you realize very quickly is that there's a lot of emotion and anxiety and, frankly, a lot of money tied up in this race. A lot of Democrats have really pinned their hopes on Elizabeth Warren, who's a very untested first-time candidate.
Am I wrong? But I don't see any other congressional candidate here in Charlotte who is getting the attention that she's getting. I mean, she's the warm-up for Bill Clinton tomorrow night, which is a pretty big deal.
That's right. She's getting a lot of attention. There were more media requests to interview her than they were, frankly, able to accommodate. There are already lists of people they're talking about running next time in 2016, and she's on those lists. She hasn't even won her first elected office yet, so it's pretty phenomenal.
Why is this race so important?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, for a number of reasons. One is that the Democrats really do feel like this was Ted Kennedy's seat, and that Scott Brown won in sort of a fluky way, that he shouldn't have won, that they had a weak candidate, that they kind of gave the seat away, and they're so determined to get it back. Obama's expected to win hugely in Massachusetts, so they feel like this is a really good opportunity. There are also a lot of people who would like to see a woman elected statewide in Massachusetts, and Massachusetts does not have a great record.
So tomorrow's her big night. How is she today? How good a speaker is she?
Well, it's fascinating. She's a very energetic speaker, as you can see, and she can be very personable. She's got a little bit of the professor, teacher. She's accustomed to being in front of people.
Scott Brown's a warm guy.
Scott Brown's very well liked. He's got enviable favorability ratings. People who meet him find him very natural. They think of him as sort of a Massachusetts guy. Boston College, Rentham, Massachusetts. He comes from there. She's obviously from elsewhere, and she's got to work to sort of connect with people. But one thing that is sort of fascinating watching her today, she gives a speech which was really about herself, fighting for this, fighting for that. She talked about Ted Kennedy and how much she admired him. She didn't go near Scott Brown. So then Howard Dean follows her, speaks to the Massachusetts delegation, and just rips Scott Brown apart. Essentially accuses him of being a right-wing crackpot who poses for centerfolds in magazines.
So she's trying to keep her favorabilities up and let other surrogates do the real attacking. And the question is, how long can she keep doing that?
Well, they're both kind of tiptoeing up to that question, right? Because we're heading into the general election. They both have a lot of money at their disposal, but it's a very sensitive thing for both of them.
How about their advertising? Has it been mostly positive so far?
So far, yeah, the ads that he has had, he had a problem with women, a gender gap, so now that they have ads. They've been kind of mocked, but they show him folding laundry and doing sort of domestic things, and his wife talks about what a good husband he was with his daughters.
Is he still driving around that truck?
The truck is back,
the truck is
yes.
back.
In the barn jacket is the other thing that he's sort of famous for. You know, he does have an easygoing way about him. She is, by all reports, getting better on the trail, and there's still a number of people who don't know her, but her campaign believes that those are people who are very winnable for her.
Getting better is hardly a positive thing. Is it because of the school marmish attributes that you suggested?
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's 2012. This is a hotly contested race. There are national Republicans who are very invested in keeping Brown in office. There's Wall Street money. She's seen as sort of a scold of Wall Street. And again, she's a first-time candidate. Even when she got up today, she kind of struggled with the microphones and made a joke about it. But she has not run for selectman or mayor or council member. She's going right to the Senate. Hopefully, in her view, that's where she's going to start. That's very unusual.
Right. Now, when we were in Tampa, you barely blinked and Scott Brown was gone.
That's right. I mean, the fascinating thing is that basically Brown does not want to be seen as a national Republican. He doesn't want to be seen as aligned with the party or with Mitch McConnell, and it's a fascinating dance for him to do. He really is going for the independent vote in Massachusetts, and he's really kind of distancing himself from the Republican agenda.
One last question. Given how much Elizabeth Warren is high profile at this convention, if she loses in November, how much of an embarrassment would that be for the National Party?
It would be a big embarrassment. There are lots of people whose kind of careers, egos are on the line. There are a lot of people who have poured money into this race. It would be a real blow psychologically and, frankly, in the Senate majority.
Carolyn, thanks very much.